This Sunday is the fourth Sunday in our Lenten journey, and the fourth Sunday in Lent is called Refreshment Sunday, or Laetare Sunday. These are all a time in the middle of Lent when we can lighten up a little bit and have a little bit of a break as we look on towards the very end of Lent going into Holy Week. We have a beautiful reading in the Gospel, and it's from this interaction that Jesus has at night, in the middle of the night, with Nicodemus, although Nicodemus doesn't actually appear in the passage that we're going to read on Sunday. But we have Jesus' response to Nicodemus' questions that has, of course, the verse that everyone knows from, if nothing else, from football games, "For God so loved the world." And the choir will be singing a setting of those very familiar words at communion, and it's a setting by the contemporary British composer Bob Chilcott. Bob Chilcott was a student at King's College and was one of the King's singers for many years and has gone on to have a very productive compositional career and is widely published. And this setting of "For God so loved the world" is a very intimate and haunting take on those words. And then in the afternoon, we also have Evensong, and we hope that you will join us for that service as well. Our Evensong recitalist this week is Jack Warren Burnham, who has had a really pretty big career and in the American church and has spent most of his life in the Wilmington, Delaware area, serving churches in that area. He's a published composer. He has harmonizations in our Hymnal 1982 as well as other supplements. He's a very fine choral technician and a really brilliant player. And so we hope that you will come at 4:45 on Sunday and hear Jack play a beautiful prelude recital. And then immediately following that, the choir will present choral evensong. One of the pieces one of the anthems that has been most popular, most beloved over the past several years that the choir has sung is a piece, "One in Christ," by the contemporary British composer George Arthur. His name is George Richford. He publishes under George Arthur. And it's a setting of some words from the Eucharistic prayer of common worship, which is sort of the Rite to version of the prayer book that they use in England. And it's "When we were still far off, you met us in your Son and brought us home." Very emotionally satisfying and rich, densely harmonized setting of these words. And as I say, this has been one of the more popular pieces that the choir has learned in the past few years. It was written in 2017 and has been in our repertoire really since it was composed. The setting of the Magnificat and Nunc Dimittis that we will be singing is also by George Richford, and it is an unaccompanied setting called the Friday service, because there is somewhat of a tradition in England where they do evensong every day of the week, that on Fridays they do unaccompanied settings in some of the cathedrals. They let the organ have a little bit of a rest. And so his Friday service is for unaccompanied choir, and it has a lot of the same tonal characteristics as that anthem. And so we're really happy to present both his Mag and Nunc Friday service as well as this anthem, "One in Christ," in the same evensong. The psalm is Psalm 19, which is a wonderful psalm, especially as we think about God's caring for us in this season of Lent. And it has many wonderful ideas and images, very brilliant images for us to think about God's presence in our lives. And it ends with those very famous words, "Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight." And the office hymn that we'll sing at the very end of the service is a versified setting of Psalm 19 with this lovely tune by the American composer Richard Prue. So we have a lot of wonderful music in store for you, as well as some beautiful readings and prayers. We hope that as you have some refreshment this fourth Sunday in the season of Lent, you will join and worship with us here at St. John's Cathedral.